be a food oriented, experiential oriented kind of space. Those are going to evolve into.
No, I think you're exactly right. And you mentioned malls, and you and I both live in Western St. Charles County. We've got a mall right here in our community called the Meadows. And it opened up as a kind of a jazzed up shopping mall. Okay. Think of the old Northwest Plaza, outdoor shopping. Didn't do very well, but they've rebadged it. There's more restaurants there now. They've built apartments right there. So it's the living, working, shopping, eating type of thing. Yeah. So this whole shopping aspect of the Meadows Shopping Center, that's just one of four. It's not the main thing. It's one of four. So you can get by if it's 25% of your goal, not 100%. So they've adjusted it.
I call that model, James, the Dallas, Texas model. I spent 3 years down there right out of college. And what they did down there is they gentrified neighborhoods in the city. They would come in, buy up the land, and bulldoze the houses, and they would build 4 to 5 story complete city block apartment complexes with what I call a Vegas style pool in the middle. Very, very nice, but they built them in bulk. And they would have on the first floor coffee shops, grocery store, your needs, and then apartments up top. And you could walk anywhere, do anything. That's the Dallas, Texas model. And I think you're going to start to see that more and more, especially in the city, with the NGA, which I think we haven't even talked about that.
And what is NGA? And what is NGA?
National Geospatial Agency. So they have decided St. Louis as being basically their Western headquarters. Their headquarters is out in DC area, but this is going to be their Western headquarters. It is a massive government project going on west of the Mississippi, in North City, St. Louis. It's going to completely revolutionize and change North City into the north side of downtown. I don't think people realize it. Not only is the facility a multi-billion-dollar facility, but then you have to realize the government contractors that support that facility are going to be moving into the area, going to be opening up offices in the area. In the work that I focus on, and a lot of that's government stuff right now. I'm getting calls from companies that are building new, another office here, or, they want to do a wall and a command center, you name it. It's a shot in the vein.
Well, and you mentioned that NGA, and that's a perfect example of how things are changing, because that whole area was just, not trying to be ignorant, but it was flak jacket country. There was nothing there, but they've built it up, and they've built everything that you need, and all that stuff's going to follow. But they've omitted one thing, and that's parking. They haven't put a lot of parking down there. Because they say the theory was, well, we don't want people to commute to here. We want people to live here. So if you're going to get this $85,000 a year job working here and you can't park your car someplace, there's a good chance you're going to live there. And it is going to revitalize the area. And by the way, you mentioned Dallas. I know exactly where you're talking about. You're talking about some of those areas off of Harry Hines Boulevard. That part of Dallas.
Harry Hines, if you go up 75, the Fitzhugh and those streets around there, it's they've completely gentrified those areas. There's positive and negatives to that, because the people that were living there are now, where are they at? You question that. So, but in terms of growth and bringing in people and talent. For jobs, that's been their model.
It has. And once upon a time, Harry Hines Boulevard was the biggest business model there was the strip joints. And now it's that's what somebody told me. I don't know that for a fact.
No, I heard that too. And now it's Harry Hines Boulevard is basically Hospital Row right now.
Yeah, it is.
They've got Parkland, they've got other hospitals popping up. It's their medical district. And that's actually close to the first area I lived when I first moved to Dallas, right by Love Field and Harry Hines. And it was a nice area. But when I told people that I lived there, they're like, what?
Yeah, it is. It's exactly right. And again, that's just one more way that things are changing. You mentioned that your business model, Daktronics sells the fancy screens, the jumbotrons, that thing. But you've taken this product that you have and you've moved it on to new customers.
Yeah, that's right.
So you're already changing.
Yeah, no, exactly right. We've put a ton of money into development of what we call our direct view LED product. I describe it as if you go to a Best Buy and you're looking at televisions, it can get confusing because you'll see the buzzwords OLED and LED display for televisions. The reality is that's a white light that is filtered through films within that panel to then create that colored, vibrant picture that you see on a television screen. You have a glass in front of that, which creates glare, and you have brightness limitations. A traditional television that you put in your house, you might get 400 nits of brightness out of it, which is fine for your house. But the difference between with what I do and what I'm selling is it's what we call direct view LED. So the light is actually coming directly from the LED themselves. There's no glass, there's no filters that the light goes through. So you're getting a more pure and more vibrant picture on those displays. Well, that's perfect for your command and control rooms, for your QSR spaces, your quick serve restaurants, or your sports bars, restaurants, where you want to, instead of a projector, which traditionally you have to have in a dark place, you can't have any sunlight in there. So the ambiance is darker traditionally in those spaces. Now you can put a display in there that's vibrant, that can compete with the sunlight. It doesn't have a glare on it, doesn't have, isn't washed out by the sunlight, and it looks really, really good. Case in point, we just installed the world's largest sports book at Circa in Las Vegas. This thing is, I believe, 140 feet wide by 50 feet tall, something along those lines, 2.5 millimeter in their sports book. And then you go outside to their pool, and there's a giant video board at their pool. They call it a stadium swim, I believe is the term they've coined their pool. But
okay.
The brightness on those displays can compete with the Vegas sunlight. So you don't have the issue of it being washed out, which is exciting. So we're seeing a ton of growth in the casino sportsbook world with gambling and sports betting getting approved state by state. We're seeing a huge growth in government because we're doing it right. We've got a great American story. Started in a garage in South Dakota, making wrestling scoreboards, got the Olympic contracts in the 70s and 80s. And now we've evolved to being a world leader in LED displays, and the government, is excited that we're building this stuff here. We're doing substantial completion and manufacturing here of this product, which, none of our competitors can say.
And where do you manufacture your product, Kyle?
So we've got 3 plants in the United States. We've got one in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, one in Redwood Falls, Minnesota, and then in our headquarters, which is in Brookings, South Dakota. It's about an hour north of Sioux Falls. We've got a total of 1 million square feet of manufacturing space.
And I thought they didn't make anything in the United States anymore.
Yeah, no, it's funny. We actually had some folks from the Department of Defense come up and tour the factory, and towards the end of the visit, we were pulled aside, and they were just like, we're extremely humbled. We had no idea that this level of manufacturing was happening here, and this is awesome to see. So we were thrilled about that, and now we're flash forward 6 months later, and we're working on projects all around the globe for the Department of Defense. And it's interesting. I was talking with my cousin, who is a retired from the Navy and works with a 3-letter government agency currently. And I was telling him what I was doing, and he goes, "You know what? I'm really excited for you." He goes, "You're doing something for the betterment and good of our country." And that struck me, that pride that he has for the country. And it dawned on me. It's like, he's right. We this is for our security. This is for our future. This is just a small piece of that. But it excited me to hear him say that, somebody who spent his whole career in the military. It gave me goosebumps. So I'm excited that our company is a part of that, and hopefully, continues to grow in that market.
Well, and manufacturing, to those who are not in it, tends to be boring. It's not sexy. It's not the motion picture industry. It's not the music industry. Okay. But manufacturing, I mean, that's what drives economies is manufacturing.
It's the offensive line of the economy.
That's
the offensive
perfect.
line, a running back can have a huge day on the field, and the O-linemen don't get any love unless the running back mentions them in their post-game interview. Manufacturing's like that.
That's exactly right. I mean, with my business that I worked in, I've worked in manufacturing since I was 18 years old, and building stuff can be very exciting. The process of building it and where it's used. I've gotten into arguments with people. Our little town of Lake St. Louis here. I work for a company that is the number one manufacturer of industrial cutting supplies for, baby diapers, feminine care products, filters, masks, hospital gowns in the world. Okay. Nobody makes more of this stuff than we do. And when I mention this to some people, they say, look, I've lived in Lake St. Louis all my life. You're blowing smoke. That company doesn't exist. Okay, great. I've worked there. I've worked there close to 20 years. So I guess you're right. You know more than I do. But manufacturing, and like for our business, I mean, we're just inundated with work from the wet wipes people, the mask people, the surgical gowns people. They need somebody to make stuff, and they need it now. And I can't tell you how many times they said, look, I need some stuff. How quick can you make it? And it's to me, it's very sexy. It's very cool. And if you make something in this country, you employ the people that make it. You employ the people that ship it. You employ the people that distribute it. The raw material suppliers come from this country normally, because sure, you can get it from across the pond, but it takes longer. You pay tariffs, et cetera. So it just goes on and on and on and on. And there's
my dad still talks about working at the Corvette plant when he was younger in life, and the experience and the impact that had on him. And he always talks about it in a very positive manner. So manufacturing is a big part of our fabric, and it's more important today than ever. I mean, you look at what's going on, a global pandemic. I think it's a wake-up call. I hope it's a wake-up call for everybody that, how much stuff we got from other countries.
Yeah.
And in a global pandemic, when stuff shuts down, you've got to be able to make your own stuff. Yeah. So, I think this global supply chain that has spent the last 20 years getting built up for the United States, where we're utilizing, other countries to manufacture a majority of our materials, all the way down to our medicine, you're going to start to see a huge shift in that back to the United States, which is exciting.
I hope so. I hope that happens. What I hope doesn't happen is this thing goes away, we become complacent again, and we're back to the same old thing. Because let's be honest, we can build anything we want here. And quite often the reason we don't, it's to be quite honest, it's corporate greed. Take clothing, for instance. I can buy a pair of pants at a store that's made someplace other than the U.S. for $50. Okay. If that pair of pants can be made in the U.S. for, say, $30, okay, so the retailer can make $20 off that pair of pants, or they can import it from China for $3. And the bottom line is that they could. Do you want to make $47 off a pair of pants or $20? They want to make 47. But then they realize that when all the people at the pants factory get laid off and nobody buys their pants, there's a problem. So it's I hope you're right. I'm cautiously optimistic that you are. But then we could go back into the same rabbit hole, down the same rabbit hole as we've been before, and just buy the cheap stuff overseas.
Yeah, no, I hope so too. I hope it transitions this way. But you're right that we're too dependent on other countries, and you're exactly right. We can make anything here. We can, without a doubt, and we can come together and get what we need to get done. But it's been interesting to see, and I think adversity, challenges you learn from them, you grow from them, and I think we're going to do exactly that as a